Hello YouTube, this is Geeky Austin, and today we are going to take a look at the Figurized Standard Android 17. Android 17 stands at about 5.75 inches tall, and here he is next to the Figurized Standard Final Form Frieza and the SH Figuarts Piccolo. Now, as you can see right off the bat, unlike the Final Form Frieza, who I stated in one of my early reviews, you could actually get away with his size. He's a tad taller, but he looks okay with the Figuarts figures. Not the case with Android 17, because the height is almost exact for each other. And Android 17, of course, supposed to be about, I'd say they were about the shoulder length with Piccolo at least. So, it's not accurate, but that just shows again that the Figurized Standard figures are just a tad taller than the Figuart ones. Okay, and as on for detail, just like with Frieza, the detail on this figure is pretty good. You can see, saw the rivets into the hair. You can see all the wrinkles in the fabric on his shirt and all, his bandana as well. You can see all the seam joints on his pants as well, the wrinkles on them. The tear effect right here across his pant line is really good. They got a little bit of detail right there on the belt. The gun itself also has a little bit of detail. I can show it in a minute. And nice embroidered on the Red Ribbon logo. And just like I stated again with Final Form Frieza, these Figurized Standard figures are very amazing with the way the eyes are done. Because the pupils, the blue section of the eyes, and the white section of the eyes, as well as the eyebrows, they are all separate pieces that you have to attach together individually and then cover it up with a facial section right here. It is very neat that what they're able to do with just that right there to give off the effect of this here. That could also be done with painting if you wanted to, but I really like how it's done. It looks really nice. I really love it. And right quick as well, detail on the shoelaces, right there on his socks. So yeah, detail wise, it's just like with Frieza. They are pretty good for being model kits. Because again, just like with Frieza, this is a model kit. You gotta take it apart and put it together to make the figure, and it is worth it. Again, as I stated with Frieza, it is worth it. These guys are worth your time and money, because they are really good. Now on to articulation. This figure's articulation is pretty good, except for a few spots which I'll mention later. The head is on a ball joint, which can rotate up that far, and can go down about that much. Kind of limited because of the back of his hair and his chin, not too bad. It does have a little bit of a side right there, but again, the hair kind of blocks it. And it can rotate all the way around. Except, well, there you go. Like I said, I'll mention that in a minute. But yeah, the neck is also on a swivel right there, so you can, I'll just take it off so I can show it better. You can move it forward that far and back that far, like so. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, the arms are also on a ball hinge that can go up about that far, and they can rotate all the way around. And also, just like with Figuart figures, it's got a hidden little extra hinge right in there to where you can pull the arm out about that far and in that far. Okay, that far, excuse me. So you can almost make his arms go way out like this and cover across his body and to even cross his arms as well. So it's very nice. Right here, there's a swivel right there at the sleeve, but it is really, really tight on mine, so I gotta hold it right here at the shoulder just to get it to work. But yeah, that joint can rotate all the way around. And his arm right here has a hinge joint which can go in that far and down that far. and the hand is on a ball joint, which can move down, excuse me, one second, can move down about that far, can go up that far, and of course can rotate all the way around. And then the torso is also on a ball joint of sorts, and it can, one second, it can move back about that far and move forward that much, and it does have a bit of a side crunch right there, ab crunch, can go that far in and that far that way, very nice. And right here also got a ball joint, but because of the design of the pants and all, it is very limited on what it can do. It can go back that far, forward that much. You kind of could tell very little. And for side motion, again, very little, not a whole lot, but it can rotate all the way around. Okay, excuse me for that. It kept trying to fall to pieces. Anyways, right here on the legs, it's got the same type of joints that a Figuarts figure has. One second, let me remove the belt so that way I can easily show you it so the belt won't be in the way. Anyways, I was about to say, it's got the same type of hip system that the earlier Figuart figures had, that you can rotate them up that far and down that much and out like that, but it's got the same type of joint system that the old Figuart figures had right there. So you can just pull down the legs right there on those little hinges, and then you can spread the legs out about that far, just like the old Figuart figures. And yeah, they can pull out that far, they can go up. So with it like that, you can spread his leg out that far, bring it up that much forward, and that much back. So again, even though it's an older system, I still like this old hip system, and it's nice that these figures are including them. It's a nice little feature. It works. Anyways, the knees are on a single hinge right there that can go up just that much. Not a whole lot. It's not as impressive as Frieza's. It would have been nice if it was double hinged, but still, it does go up a pretty good enough distance for posing. Not too bad. And finally, the feet right here are on a ball joint, but because of the design of this section of the shoe right here, and also the laces, you can barely get any ankle movement without the foot falling off because of that, the way it's designed. And very, very little rocker. The only thing basically you could do is rotate it all the way around. So, kind of a disappointment right there, but oh well, it's what you get. And now, before I move on to the accessories, I was going ahead and mention what I was talking about, the articulation, because you probably saw some of it already. The articulation here on Android 17 is good, but he is very fragile, and not in the way to where anything could actually break on you and you'd have to glue it back on or anything like that, but joints pop off on him very easily. As already shown, you can pop the torso off with very little ease, but though that's only because of the little feature right here, so that's expected. The arms can pop off very easily too, just by spinning around too much, so can the hands. Again, accessories related. The feet, as I mentioned, could. And the biggest one that will really bug you until you can get it right, or you'll just have to glue it in, is the joint right here that makes the neck move forward and back. I would take it apart, but at the risk of this dang thing moving around freely again, I'm not going to bother. But right there underneath the bandana, the neck is attached across this way and this way with just regular old hinges. In other words, there is nothing snapping the neck into the body except the I said bandolier, the bandana, excuse me, but yeah, the bandana itself. The only reason it stays on is that the bandana has to be snapped onto the torso exactly perfect, or it will cause the neck to be super loose, and basically his head will start wobbling back and forth just by picking him up and moving him around, so making that joint useless. But yeah, very bad design choice. It would have been nice if if the neck piece was just a ball joint attached to the torso. That way you would still be able to move them up and down and it wouldn't pop out as easily. Hopefully I tried to explain the best I could without having to take this off. But yes, it's attached to the bandana itself and not to the torso. I wish it wasn't the case. But other than that, the articulation on him is pretty good, and for what it is, for being a model kit set and all, it's okay. You can still get some good poses out of him and take some good pictures with him, and he'll still look good on your shelf. You don't have to worry too much about that. Okay, and on to accessories. This figure does come with an extra face right here, a screaming face. And while I got this out, I can quickly show again what I was talking about. Like I stated earlier, the eyes, the pupils, the white sections, the brow and the mouth and everything, it is all just separate pieces that are all just nicely puzzled together and attached to the face. But yeah, there's a screaming face, and that little red section inside of his mouth right there, that was a sticker. And I can understand them wanting to try to use a sticker just so it can just make it easier. You don't have to paint it, but at the end of the day, unless your hands are very steady or you're just very lucky, you're going to have a hard time putting that sticker in. But yeah, I've got really huge hands, but I was still able to stick it in just by using my X-Acto knife as a guide and just gently pressed it on and rubbed it in. But yeah, it would have been nicer if this was just a separate red piece that could snap in for the mouth instead of just a sticker. But, oh well. And also, he comes with an extra set of hands right here. These are more open palm hands, spread out like. You can use these, of course, for your energy blast effects, and you can use them for a little cool cross-arm style look. But yeah, they're not too bad. It's nice that it came with something like that. And an extra hand, of course, is his gun holding hand, which the gun can snap straight into that little spot right there on his palm. And he can hold it very well, and the gun does not seem to want to fall out of his hand very easily, so that's pretty good. And also, he comes with the extra belt piece that I was mentioning earlier. That's the reason his torso can pop off very easily. Then it comes with this little piece right there, so you can attach it to a flight stand. And the Figure Arts flight stands can work with this, but don't know if I can get it to show up very well under this lighting and all, but there's a sign of some damage done to the joint right here on the sides, because the peg for the flight stand, the Figure Arts flight stand, is just a tiny bit bigger than this peg hole. So you can stick it on, but you could cause damage to this joint. So I wouldn't recommend it. Just try to get the type of flight stands that you can use for Gundams and other things. Basically the same ones that are from the same company that these guys come from. And finally, he also comes with a key blasting effect, which again was made with separate pieces, and it does look really good, and it's nice shiny, and it's very nice and shiny looking. It's very well done. And okay, and to attach the gun, all that you got to do is right here on the holster. This little flap right here can pop straight off, and you can take the gun straight out and pop the piece back on, just like so. Which again, yeah, it's very flimsy and can fall out easily just by lightly pressing it. But, oh well. And again, like I stated before, now that I can show the gun off, the gun is nicely detailed. It's got nice grooves into it. Everything on it looks really, really nice. You can see the trigger, you can see the loader, everything. It does look really good, and it's nice to see a good bit of detail was put into this little bitty gun. And as stated before, to attach it, all you gotta do is line up this little hole with that peg right there on his palm, and just press it in like so, and it stays in really, really well, which is nice. It doesn't want to fall out easily. And again, just so you can see, just pop out the hand on the arm and you just pop the new hand in. That's how you swap the hand joints on these. It's really easy to do. Oh, and also the final accessory that it actually comes with is this little energy barrier piece, which has a stand on it that you can just put right in front of him to make it look like the scene of him flying and putting up the energy barrier while he was fighting Piccolo. It is really nice. The only disappointing thing about it is that it's just either just a little too reflective, or it's just, I'm not sure what to say about it. I just feel that it was a little cheaply made. I just feel that they could have put a little better job into it, but for what it is, it's okay. It works. Now overall, once again, the detail on this figure is pretty good for what it is. It's a very nicely detailed model kit, and it is fun to build. I definitely recommend it just for that. The paint job, again, there is no paint job on it. All the little pieces are stickers, and most of them are annoying to apply, but you can paint it if you want to, but really it's up to your choice. But just for what it is, with just the stickers and no painting, it still looks really good, and I definitely am happy with that. The articulation, again, is okay, but it is very fragile and easy to pop off in many areas, and it's a huge disappointment just because of that. I really do wish that a little bit more effort was put into some spots on the articulation, particularly up in the neck area. It would have been very nice if that was done. And the accessories, there are plenty of accessories, and they're not too difficult to use and put on, so really good job for that. So definitely, I do recommend getting these guys. All these Figuarts standard figures that I've seen so far are really good. And even though I only have 2 of them so far, I definitely intend to get more of them, because for the price and what they are, and the fact you can actually build them together once again, it gives something to do. It gives you it just has a nice feeling and experience when you put together a figure instead of just pulling a figure out of the box. I really do love that. I love that aspect a lot, and because of that, yeah. Just for that alone, I definitely recommend getting this guy. And also, as a quick side note, I do want to apologize to all those that have subscribed to my channel for the long wait for this review. I wanted to get this review up almost as soon as my speed build was put up, but sadly, my job got in the way. I was busy at work, and I had other things I wanted to take care of and all. So I got this up as soon as I possibly could, and I thank you so much for any of y'all that were patient to do it. Also, I'll go ahead and make a quick announcement. I intend to start looking at some of the new Star Wars Last Jedi figures, particularly the Force Link ones, because while the gimmick is very silly and not well done, I have huge nostalgia for the styles of these Force Link Star Wars figures. So without a doubt, I intend to review the Force Link components, and also as many of the figures as I can get my hands on. I intend to start those reviews up hopefully next week. I will try to get them up next week. And thank you all so much for watching. This has been Geeky Austin.